Hello, welcome to Paul's Place. As things change and we change with them, what used to be the fastest 1 hour in Friday afternoon, I think, is going to start out being the slowest two-day program we've ever done. And it's been a little bit interesting around the set today. Some people didn't show up, some people are sick, so we're going to go ahead and do the program with what we got. And it used to be like racing, you run what you brung and don't complain. So got two people on the show today besides myself. Got Betty Mullins on my left. Betty is the historian of racing, be it Bearfield, a Villa, or whatever. Betty is pretty well knows one driver from the next, I guess. And her input today, I know a lot of people listen to this program and go about it and say, boy, I don't remember that, or boy, I'm glad she was there and taught us about this. But it'll be interesting today to hear what Betty's got to say. Over on my right is another person that needs no introduction. He probably come up with some pretty strange things today also. It's Rocky Fisher. And we'll be talking about racing and some of the places we've been and probably some of the places we'd like to be later on. But in the hour this program is going to be, Rocky's going to talk for a half hour and Betty's going to talk for 25 minutes and I'm going to get 5 minutes in and we're going to go home. So anyway, welcome to the show. It's going to be a little bit different than the normal, but we're going to start out I don't know, usually I don't run a script, but today I'm going to use a little bit of a script. We're going to start the program talking about the tracks in the area, and Fort Wayne has been blessed with quite a few tracks. We had the old Fort Wayne Speedway, was out on the California Road, which is now the bypass. We had South Anthony, which was out on South Anthony, which is now a housing development. And we still got Bearfield, and those are the local tracks. There was another track, well, two more tracks in Fort Wayne. There was one at the Coliseum that USAC used to run. Bill Lipke always had a show there. They still run it now, but I think they ran it, don't they run that in the new park?
Yes, in the new expo hall,
yeah.
Right.
And also St. Liver Park. St. Liver Park was an early racetrack. It was a horse track converted into early racing, and that's been closed for years. Once, I don't know where it was at, but Bob Coe and I and somebody else was talking, and it was another racetrack. It'd be about where Parkview Hospital is now off of State Street, but nobody seems to know anything too much about that. Other tracks that we ran in the area that you don't hear anything of anymore. Hicksville, Ohio, we used to run that dirt track. It was fairgrounds. They still run horses there, I think. And Bryan, Ohio, now they still run Bryan.
Go-karts, yeah, on Sunday afternoons, I think.
They don't, what's called it, Stark? What is his name?
Well, Buck Stark and his wife are both dead.
Oh, yeah?
Ivan Graves has that. Bought that from him while they were still alive.
He still has it then.
Ivan has it, and it's runs his wrecker service out of there. But the housing development all around it is pretty much squeezing down on where he's going to have to probably sell it to some developer, because they're right on the, they got some $200,000 homes right on the edge
line
of the parking lot.
Oh my!
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought Buck.
Yeah.
I didn't know Buck passed away.
Yeah, he did.
Remember he used to haul that Cadillac around that said lemon on it?
Yeah, right.
The wheels fell off of that.
Right.
Another track that we don't run anymore, and then it's closed up too, is the Warsaw track. That was a quarter-mile dirt
Right.
from Winona Lake.
Another case of the same thing of residential coming up and putting them out of business.
Yeah. When we raced there, this has been 30 years ago, you had to have your racing done by 11 o'clock at night. Because they closed that track up at 11:02, and you went home in the dark. Another track that we don't run anymore is Decatur. There used to be a track down there called Clem's Lake, and we don't run that anymore.
I don't remember that.
Van Wert, Ohio had a track, but I don't recall too much about that.
I don't either.
What was another? Mount Pelier was another one. It's been closed, I think, for years.
You're talking about Ohio or Indiana?
Indiana.
Indiana's still running.
They
Yeah, I
still
thought
run?
they
Yep,
still
they're
do.
still running.
Well, I thought they'd closed that.
No, they're still running. Lions Club ran it for quite a while, and it's went through a series of promoters now every year.
Yeah.
But they're running modifieds and street stocks and semi-late models.
Hmm.
They're doing not bad.
Another track that we ran was South Bend Motor Speedway.
It's
They still
going.
run that. I think
Right.
they run that on Friday nights.
Right.
And another track that I never ran, but I think you guys have, is Plymouth.
Plymouth,
Plymouth is a track up
Right.
in that area.
It's just changed promoters again this year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
And,
they're struggling.
there
New
was
Paris,
New Paris is another one up in there. I think they're still running that.
they do real well.
Landex, Ohio is another one. That's closed up. I think that's a housing development.
Hmm.
These were the tracks back when we first started racing in the 50s and the 60s. These were the tracks that we ran. And
Don't forget
Ken-
Avila, that was
yeah.
1965.
Yeah,
Right.
Avila's another one, and Kendallville's another one. Kendallville had
that's right.
a fairgrounds, and Avila was it was nationally known. It was a good track.
Well.
With Howard Bice ran it, but just bringing up all these tracks that we ran, there was racing in the area. If you didn't get bit by the racing bug, somebody would run into you and
Right.
that had it. And so every kid to get out of high school had some idea that he'd take his car and go to the racetrack and run
Right.
it. Avila had a drag strip also, and then towards the end, before they tore the track down in '64, I think there was a drag strip out at the big track down the main straightaway. I think I've heard some people talking about
Well,
that.
they just used the big track, tried to drag strip down the main straightaway.
And Bunker Hill was the only other drag
Yeah.
strip, and Half Day, Illinois was another drag strip. That was up at Dyer, or around Dyer,
Right.
Indiana.
Shearville, too.
Yeah.
Ileana, they're still running.
Ileana's still running, I believe, but they were going to close that up and make a housing development out of that.
Well, Harry Mullin, who was the owner for years and years,
Yeah.
passed away, him and his wife both,
Yeah,
and that's been sold to a guy that's really spent a lot of money on it.
yeah.
Oh, good.
You know,
Put
brought the
money in the
quality-
track.
Yeah, spent a lot
Good.
of money on it. It's a beautiful
Good.
track now, yeah.
And then
So-
naturally, we all remember Winchester and
Oh, yeah.
Salem. Those are two tracks that we didn't really run. I never did, but I used to go down
Yeah.
to them
Right,
and watch sprint cars.
right.
And early late models ran on that. Sun Valley was another one.
Anderson,
And
still going strong.
that's, what size track was that?
Quarter mile.
Quarter mile. That was a saucer like South Bend.
Quarter mile high, well, a little bit longer straightaways than South Bend, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, South Bend was sort of like a teacup.
oh, yeah.
Oh, South Bend was
It's a short quarter,
Yeah.
There were no straightaways at South Bend.
Mm.
yeah, so.
You come out on a curve and you ran on a curve all night long. Also, there was a track at South Bend that I've only seen once or twice, and it's a housing development also, and that was Playland Park.
Right, yeah.
Uh,
I've
that-
got some pictures of that at home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That,
Playland.
that closed up real early
Yeah.
right after the war. It was also a test track around South Bend that Studebaker had,
Mhm.
that I don't think they ever raced anything there
Not that I know.
that I was aware of. But anyway, these are all tracks that
Angola,
Angola's
Still going.
one they just now rebuilt that. I
Right.
just talked to Wes Parrish,
Mhm.
and the Munsters ran that for a long time.
right.
And I guess two other people's been involved owning that track since the Munsters got out of it, I think.
I think
And
so.
now, I don't know who really owns it now.
Dick Poe, doesn't
Dick
he?
Poe, yeah.
Dick Poe and
Yeah.
Wes Parrish, I think.
He
Yeah,
promotes
Taylor
it, maybe.
promotes it for him.
Yeah, I talked to him Sunday out at
Yeah.
Fairfield. He was out there sitting in the grandstands
Mhm.
watching the race. And also talked to, remember Bill Hauser?
Oh, yeah.
I
His
talked
son?
to his boy was
Yeah.
out there. I hadn't seen him in years.
Yeah.
He was, I don't know, Bill was Bill was a nice guy.
Right, yeah.
I don't know that he's hard of hearing or anything, but you could hear him above
Yeah,
anything else. You could hear him above the cackle of an Offie Ford.
Yeah.
He had a noise.
Yeah, he was the pit steward, wasn't he, for
Yeah.
Fort Wayne Race Association?
He was a pit steward, and he had a strong voice. Even when he was just talking quietly, you could hear him reverberating through a room.
Yeah.
Bill died of heart problems
Yeah.
a few years
guess.
back. Sorry to see him go. But anyway, those are some of the reason why I'm bringing it up. Somewhere in this program, toward the end of this program, we'll be talking about my ideas of starting a museum for all of these race tracks that we had around here. Starting a museum that it'll have some paraphernalia of all the tracks, rather than just one or two. I know that Avila had their Avila Hall of Fame, and Bearfield's got their Hall of Fame and stuff like that. But what I'd like to see is a Hall of Fame of all the racetracks around here.
Right.
And I've been talking to some people in Auburn about this, and would discuss it later on in the program. But anyway, those are some of them what we talked about. One of the things that was highlighting the tracks that are closed, like Clem Lake, that they made a housing development out of that and closed it up. And Avila was strange. They were going to go in there and develop that commercially, weren't they?
That's what the plans were, yes. It just, the land didn't all sell like they thought it was going to.
They're now, well, there's a gas station and a McDonald's on the corner of 8, and then there's a bank, I believe, on Howard Bice Boulevard, and then I was just up there the other day, and they've got a very large building just about where the racetrack was. It's going to be a beer distributing outlet.
Okay.
Oh.
So that's the newest building going in there. And I thought I saw some land marked out behind that, further deeper in towards the ponds where there may be
yeah.
So they are selling some stuff.
Yeah.
So it's,
But it's been quite a while, you know.
yeah, sure.
Seems it makes you think we could have been racing for
Sure.
a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah, you could race a little longer in there.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was such a good spectator
Yeah.
track, you know, to watch races there from where you sat in the grandstands. The races were right there, and there wasn't such a thing as a bad seat.
No.
And I really thought I enjoyed watching races at Avila, probably better than I ever have anywhere.
See, probably a lot of people don't know or realize this, but the first time I came to Fort Wayne, I did not to live, but I promoted a midget race at the big track on the little track in the infield.
yeah.
There was a 3/8 mile pavement track,
Oh.
then he had the dirt horse track around it, then he had the 5/8 track. And my name was in Speedway Directory, so Dutch gave me a call and said, we have a Fort Wayne Freak Fair. He said, would you like to run a midget race out here? And I said, sure, I would. Well, it ended up I had to do it, you know, but so it was in 1953 I ran that race. And through that race, because it was a fair deal, then the next year I got a race at Kendallville, who used to have a
Fair.
quarter-mile dirt track in the infield. And we ran a race there. And I was just up there for that Apple Fest, you know, here a couple of weeks ago. And
Yeah,
that's all full of ball diamonds in the infield now.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, and they got beautiful new grandstand. The old one burnt down. Got a big steel grandstand.
yeah.
I just kept telling my wife, I said, what a waste of a grandstand. Could be running race cars here, you know.
But then we always think stuff like that,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
we?
She said, well, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, Kendallville, I was up there at that fairgrounds a couple times at antique shows, and that's a half-mile flat, wasn't it?
The dirt track, yeah.
Yeah.
But they used to have a dirt track inside.
Inside that one, yeah.
That's the one I ran the midget show at.
And
They do demolition derbies there for the fair every year.
That's right, they do, don't they?
Do well there.
Yeah.
the track you were talking about out the big track, wasn't that a quarter mile, that asphalt?
It could have been.
Yeah,
It could have been, yeah.
Because that's, when the big track was too rough, couldn't drive on it sometimes. And Dutch had his horses on that half mile. They didn't really want anybody on that half
Right.
mile. Although we have ran cars on it, it wasn't practical.
You know, now that we're talking about that, I think that we ran that major race on that dirt track
That's good of.
because it was not well prepared. It was dusty, and
Yeah.
and I think they had pea gravel on it.
Oh,
you know,
my.
So that when it rained, the horses still could run without it being muddy. See, a lot of the fairgrounds are that way. They put that on the outside of the track to the top side, and the guys were, now that I remember, they were complaining about them stones,
Oh, I bet.
you know,
Yeah.
Coming up on it.
sandblasting their race car and their goggles and their helmets and everything
Yeah.
else. But we were there, we had to go with it, you know.
Because when they used to run the quarter mile, which we ran in there, that's where Bill Lipke was the announcer. Jake Zimmerman, I don't know if you remember
Yeah,
Jake.
I remember Jake.
Jake and somebody else got together in the fourth heat. And Jake caught the corner of the pagoda. And nothing really became of it. It just bumped the building, and that was about it. But they start to feature race, and Lipke's up there, and the only other people in the top of that pagoda was a man and wife from Jackson, Michigan, who was timing and scoring.
Stators.
Stator timing service. And Lipke says, the next person hits this, I'm going to be long gone. And that was it. Wheezy went through the, in between, above there was a concession stand like down underneath,
Right.
where the guy sold popcorn and Coke. And Norm went through that, and the top of the car caught the bottom of the flooring they were in, and he took that down right down and went on into the infield, rolled a couple times.
Oh.
We dug the people out. Nobody got hurt, thank God. And that ended the pagoda and the racing that day. That was all over with. The next week, this hit all the racing papers and all the newspapers, and the next week, there was license plates from 6 different states out in the parking lot.
Want to see that, huh?
It was packed. You couldn't believe how many people was in that grandstand, and Pappy Slater won the race that day. It's the biggest purse that the Fort Wayne Racing Association ever paid out.
But see, you're talking about the Villa being a good spectator track. One of the reasons Kendallville and the big track didn't do that well in later years as far as drawing spectators. Those infield tracks were 100
Right.
yards away from the grandstand.
they
Yeah.
were.
And it just was not very exciting for spectators. They get people, and the diehards, but not the ones you need to really pay.
Right.
Well, see, that's why when racing took off around here right after the war, right after World War II, and it started off 47, 48, I remember going out there, and they were running midgets on that quarter mile, and to pep things up, they said, anybody in the stands want to bring your own car out here. Next week we're going to have a spectator race. So that's what really started as called stock hardtops. And they started running with the midgets, and the next thing you know, they had their own division. But in 1953, when Carl Harbor donated the land, or put the land up for McCulloch and what's his name, Ray Walters,
Right.
developed it into South Anthony, and the grandstand set right on the racetrack. And those were the same grandstands that when they closed it up in
Went to
1964,
Villa.
Went to a mill.
that Howard Weiss took down and took up to Villa and put back up again,
Right.
the same way. So really a Villa just got a transplant.
Yeah, they really
from,
did.
From South Anthony to a Villa, and started out, and it was always good racing up there. It's just like South Anthony.
They had their Villa always had their built-in crowd. People just knew on Saturday night that's what they were going to Villa. They went to the races at a Villa. You didn't have to do a lot of promoting after Howard's initial promotion of it, and he got his established crowd, and there wasn't really much you had to do.
Yeah. The same people that went up there to Villa always packed the St. James restaurant, And they still do, only they don't go to the races afterwards. They
Yeah.
just go there and back the
For that
restaurant.
chicken and the roasted potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have really good food.
Yes, they do. But that was some of the tracks that closed up, South Anthony and...
And Jack, you mentioned the squirrels were from Jackson, Michigan. Remember
Yeah.
there was a racetrack at Jackson?
Yeah, there still is. Jack Riley used to run real good
Yeah,
at Jackson. Another Brian, or not Brian, Butler Motor Speedway. We were
Yeah.
talking about that earlier.
Yeah, they're still going.
I remember going up there and driving for a guy from Three Rivers, Michigan, when the Hemi first came out, and that was a flat. It probably is just a flat dirt track.
Butler?
Butler.
No,
yeah.
it's banked now.
They bank it
yeah.
now?
Yeah, it's
It
banked.
used to be flat, and of course that's been 30, 40
Sure.
years ago. I don't know. They weren't no over toward Edwardsburg or up in there. There was a go-kart track, but I don't remember any other racetrack up in
Well,
there.
Montville, Michigan, it's
Yeah.
still
Oh, yeah.
going. It used to be Manchester Speedway. It was a twin to Butler.
Yeah,
That ran for a while, but that's long gone in the subdivision.
yeah.
When you said when you ran a Hemi, you know, kids these days think that commercial on TV where the guy in the truck and they talk about the Hemi, they think Hemis were just invented, you know.
Right.
No, that Hemi was well, you know what's really interesting about that Hemi? It was I don't know, Chrysler come out with it. If Chevy or Ford would have came out with it first, it would have probably took off and been something. But Chrysler come out with that, and it was a well-engineered motor. It would fly. It was weight. I mean, it was a little bit heavy for what it was, but the inertia force of that thing really took off, and it ran good. Ford later on came out with a Hemi. I don't know if you've ever seen one. You've been to Charlotte?
No.
Charlotte Motor Speedway, there's a museum there on the racetrack, and there's a Hemi in there.
Is that
That, Ford built the Hemi and took it out for development, and NASCAR banned it. They said that you can't run that.
For safety or for what reason, I wonder?
It's too fast.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let them run it after they come out with it. But you know, Ford dominated racing early, and then when Chevy V8 came out, first one was a 265,
Yeah.
and then a 283, and then a
Right.
327. By the time they got that 327 out, Chevy was taking over racing.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, they still command,
Right.
no matter what kind of engine it is. A Chevy engine really, they don't take too much to run with anybody. And of course, Ford finally caught up with them. There for a while, Ford couldn't touch them. And when the Hemi came out, and when Richard Petty was running that, it was a motor to be reckoned with. But
Well, they've got a good, Chrysler's got a good,
they got a good
calling it
program.
Bullpower now.
Yeah.
In midgets and sprint cars and champ dirt cars.
Yeah.
And they're winning a lot of their share of races, so
Yeah.
they're doing good. And I'm not sure what the design is on that motor.
Sort of like, remember the old 283 that they had? That 318, I mean? It sort of looks like that.
Is that
but-
right?
Yeah, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
That 318 was, I don't know, in the early Dodge truck. It was a truck motor. I remember Bob Fresh having one. He had transmission tore up in it all the time. It was red light to red light. That truck was a screamer. And I know I always got the job to repair it. I don't know.
You know, you were talking about museum. I wonder if there's any of the old race cars out there. I mean, does somebody still have theirs? And
There's still a few of them around.
really,
Yeah.
that part would be fun to see some of the old race cars again. And if not, you probably could build one like it. You know,
I was thinking that, you mentioned that, there was an auction here about a month ago up here on County Line 60. Keith Mask passed away. Keith went to Central. Probably didn't know him. I knew him from school, and I knew his sister. But he had a 39 Ford Coupe up there. And it was all original, but it was rusted out
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I went up and looked at it, and I was thinking the same thing. Buy the thing, strip it out, put a roll cage in it, and put a bucket seat in it, and put it in a museum.
put your number on it.
put number on it and run it. But somebody else bought the car. I
Yeah.
didn't go to the auction. I guess the car sold for $3,000.
Is that right?
Oh, I'll be darned.
It was horrible looking. It was bad shape.
Now they're getting far and few between, you know.
Oh yeah, they're hard to find. It was just like, well, we ran in the 50s and the 60s. You can't find those cars anymore. I know that 56 convertible I had and that 57 convertible, and even them 61 Fords that Jack Riley ran.
Yeah.
You just can't find them anymore. They're just
Just
not
finding convertibles anymore or something.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Well, even finding old midgets. Remember, there used to be a lot of old midgets around with a Ford 60 in it, or some of them had.
They're buying them up. There's several, you know, vintage racing associations around the country now, and they've all got 50, 60 members. And
Yeah.
they race around the country, put on exhibition races and stuff, you know. So
That'd be interesting to see.
anything that's got any history to it, it's bought immediately. So
Yeah. But Jim Benson was supposed to be here today, and Jim's off sick. He couldn't hardly talk when he got up this morning and he called. But he was telling me the other day that there's 3 vintage cars right here in the area that people have kept, and they're around. So there's a few of them around here that can be put in the museum. And what else have I got on my script here? I guess we're going to get to talking about what Rocky's got going here now. I know you give us all a paper, and you got one up there on this
Well,
show.
I don't think get a shot of that.
Yeah, I think so. Here, I'll give you one of mine.
Okay. Coming up here, November 28th, will be our second Fort Wayne, Indiana Auto Racing Collectors and Memorabilia Show. It's always a hard word for me.
Memorabilia or collectors?
Memorabilia.
Memorabilia.
Got to say it a little
For
fast.
show.
Memorabilia show. And last year was a huge success. This year we're hoping it's going to be better. We had about 100 tables last year of collectibles, collector cards, Indy badges, posters, racing newspapers, old pictures, many from the Fort Wayne Racing Association, and of course a lot of NASCAR, USAC, IMCA, die-cast cars and what have you. Anyway, that's Sunday, November 28th at the Quality Hotel and Suites out on West Coliseum Boulevard, which is the old Holiday Inn Fun Dome. And last year we had Jack Hewitt, widely known and accepted sprint car driver, one of the best in the country, who put out a book and was there to autograph it and sell books, talk to people. This year we've got John Mahoney coming in, who is, I say, world-renowned photographer, who has photographed the Indy 500 and sprint cars, midgets for the past 40 years. He's got a spectacular book that he's going to be bringing with him. It's just been released. It's got over 436 pages of color photos in it. So that'll be on sale. It's called Full Tilt. He'll be there to autograph it. And
Good Christmas present for somebody who likes
he
racing.
has some really good credentials here. Dave Argerbright from Speed Sport News and Chrissy Konamaki, from editor of Speed Sport News, as well as Tony Stewart from NASCAR, all give him high grades on his book. So we're looking forward to having John here. We'll have door prizes throughout the afternoon. So again, we're looking for 100 vendors. They're coming in pretty good right now, so I expect, same as last year,
Yeah.
we'll have to turn some away. And for the third annual, I'm already looking for a larger facility. So
Larger.
What does it cost to come and see that?
it's $3.
Free?
It's
Well,
cheap.
you can't beat the price.
$3 for adults, children 12 and under free.
I remember last year I was out there and going through all the pictures. A guy from South Bend, he didn't take those pictures. He bought them off of another guy or bought another collector out. But he had a lot of stuff from the Fort Wayne area.
I think that's Ted Knorr.
Could
He's
be.
from Indianapolis,
Yeah.
but he bought all of Wayne Bryant's photos. It
Yeah.
was from the South Bend area.
Yeah.
And he's got pictures of, all the northern Indiana tracks.
When is that again? When is your show?
Sunday, November 28th. It's the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
From 9 in the morning to 3 p.m.
I know I was out there, there was a lot of memorabilia, and there was also a lot of memories floating
Right.
around and talking, and it was a real good show. It's, I
We-
remember,
We always get several race drivers, current, plus a lot of the old veterans will show up, and so it's not only a show of collectible and memorabilia stuff. You get to meet a lot of old racing friends and do some talking, and reminisce a little bit. So
Well-
it's a good time for everybody.
if Jack Riley and I showed up now,
Yeah.
would we be classified as old race drivers or
Well,
what?
sure. It's it. You would be
Old
classified.
something or another.
You would be classified as heroes of yesterday.
Oh,
They were-
not vintage race drivers.
Do I
No,
have
we-
to wear my
We
cape?
don't want to.
A vintage race driver from way back,
Yeah.
Heroes of yesterday.
Yeah, I like that. You ought to accept that role and
Yeah.
just keep that. That's good.
I intend to probably have a table out there,
Well,
and because since doing these shows, you can't believe the stuff that's still out there.
sure.
In fact, some of the pictures that's been on my show, one was a guy called me and said, I caught your show, and I've got some pictures that I found in a barn north of the city.
Right.
And they turned out to be real good
Yeah.
pictures of the big track and of a couple of the Ohio tracks. And that's really what I'm looking for if we do get the blessings to start this museum, we're going to be needing this stuff
Sure.
to put in it. And it's that same way with race cars and that also.
For sure.
But there's, I don't know, quite a few people have left us that had a lot of stuff, and then it got distributed or thrown away. And if we don't get a hold of it now, we never will.
It could be gone, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be gone and it'll never come back.
Well, I had a fella from Elkhart called me last year when he saw the show being advertised and said, and wanted a table.
Yeah.
He said, I've been around, he said, he was 70 years old or so. And he said, he followed 3A and USAC midgets and sprint cars and
Oh.
Indy cars. And he said, I've got programs, from the 40s and the 50s. And he said, it means something to me, but he said, I don't think it's going to mean anything to my kids when I die.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load all that stuff up and bring it up there and try to sell it. And he sold a lot. He was a big seller at the show. He'll be back again this year. So.
At the very first show that I did way back in February or March, I had that Don Liebram, I think, on, and he never was involved in racing or anything, but his dad took him to the races all the time when he was a kid. And this guy's got a house full of stuff.
Is that right?
Oh, you can't believe the stuff that man's got. He was the one to give me the picture of Bill France Sr. When Bill France Sr. won the big race out here at the big track in 1940 and was coming back. This was the race in 41. He was coming back to run in it, and Bill France Sr. ran in this area. So there's a whole lot of that stuff out there.
We can't hardly remember 1941, can we, Rocky? I mean, that's way before our
really.
time.
I
Well,
remember my father racing in 41
Oh, really?
in Detroit, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know your dad raced.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah.
So you've got several generations then.
He raced before the Second World War and then after. He got hurt severely after, like in 46 at Sydney, Ohio. That kind of slowed him down somewhat. But he still raced, had midgets, drove probably till about maybe 49. And then he had a couple guys driving for him.
Oh,
So
we
he
do.
finally phased out of it. Even back then, it got too expensive.
Well,
for the type of equipment he
Right.
had,
well, midgets back in them days, of course, I don't know, USAC, they ran the Offenhauser or that Miller Drake,
Well.
which was about the same thing. And then later on, as I recall, midgets coming along, 110 midget was, or 110 Offenhauser fit in a midget, and a 220 fit in a sprint car.
Right.
They looked the same, only they're just a little bit
Well, the
bigger.
220 was a little bit bigger.
Yeah, a little bit bigger in
yeah.
that degree. And then everybody ran them, or a Ford 60, or Wally Polar. Did you ever hear of Wally Polar?
Uh-uh.
He was ran a Studebaker. He also ran, it really was a Continental 6-cylinder engine was in it. Joe Bear, I think, was the guy's name that drove that.
Joe Bear drove for Gail Hauser.
Okay.
That had a Ford 60, and then later, see, Gail worked at the Harvester truck repair shop on Clinton. What was
Clinton
that?
and Duck Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so later on, he built a Roadster midget, and he put a Harvester Scout engine in it, but they never got that really developed.
Hmm.
But Wally's was a Studebaker champion, that little 6-cylinder.
Yeah, a little.
I had a Golden Hawk once. I loved that thing. It was beautiful. Didn't run worth it, but it was sure pretty.
Yeah. Well, there's still a collector car.
there
I
was-
wish I had it back.
One of the reasons I came to Fort Wayne, I was trying to race for a living, and years ago, unlike today there are a lot of owner and driver combinations. They own it and drive it themselves, you know. That's kind of phasing out as far as in the high money brackets, but the lower brackets, there's a lot of people that own and drive their own cars. Well, you used to be able to travel around and go to a track, and there'd be 2 or 3 cars open and say, hey, I'm Betty Mullins, or I'm Paul Ladd, or I'm Rocky Fisher, I'm looking for a ride, you know, and get a ride, you know. So, and one of the reasons I came to Fort Wayne was there was about 8 midgets back in 1960.
That needed drivers, huh?
Well, that had drivers or went to the track without a driver, or their driver couldn't make, you know, just various different guys. And I think I drove for almost all of them, but
Brought your suit and hat with you?
Oh, yeah.
Ready to
Yeah.
go, huh?
Yeah.
you know,
That, you brought that up. Jack Riley's wife don't like to hear about that. But,
yeah.
you know, at South Anthony, that's where they used to bring them. A guy would bring his car out there and think, well, one of the stock car guys would get in it and drive it. A midget and a stock car is 2 different items.
No, I would think.
Jack got into one, got it upside down, and he woke up 2 days later.
Oh,
Yeah.
my Lord.
And I don't know if you remember, Russ Moore started Russ Moore Transmission, and a guy by the name of Jerry Schaefer. He was service manager for Buick for a while. Jerry worked, and Russ and I all worked together at Macomb Ignition way back then. But anyway, there was a guy pulled in out there at South Anthony and looking for somebody to drive his car. And all 3 of us, I think, took a chance on that thing, and it was the spookiest thing. Went down the back straightaway, the wheels were going like that.
Not a very secure feeling.
Oh, no. And everybody bring it in. Why you get out of it? Oh, I just don't feel right. I just don't feel comfortable in that car. I don't think anybody ever felt comfortable in those cars. But,
Are you ever going to drive again, Rocky?
Next year.
Next year, you are?
Yep. Yep, we're getting her together, and my grandson wants to get going next year, either in go-karts or mini sprints rather, and he's looking for the day. He said, I want us to race at least once together in the same race. So
Oh, that's
I
cute.
said, well, we're going to have to find a mini sprint big enough for me to get in, I guess. We do some go-kart racing together right now on an indoor track, but he's looking forward to running outdoors. So
what are you going to run, a sprint or a midget?
I got myself.
Yeah.
Well, I still have a sprint car.
Still got a sprint?
Yeah, but I'm going to run some dirt next year. Probably, you know, when the sprint cars are at Bearfield, if we don't have conflicting dates, we'll come out there and run. But for the most part, it'll be Butler and Gas City and Lima and Kokomo and stuff like that. So, looking forward to it.
Well, I guess.
Yeah, keeps me young.
That was another, when we were talking about tracks, Kokomo was another. Bill Lipke ran Kokomo
Right.
for a long time, but he never owned a track.
No, he had a 99-year lease on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't think the Lipkes are involved in that anymore. I think Jim,
No, a fellow by the name of Mark Owsley now has it. He's the one that operates it.
Okay.
They run on Sunday nights with sprint cars, and modified and street stocks.
Lima Land, is that still dirt?
Yep. That's owned by, it's Western Ohio, it's a college owns it.
Oh, okay.
And you wouldn't recognize it. I mean, they completely turned it around from the front stretches, now the back stretch, and all new concessions, all new restrooms, everything's brand new. Yeah.
Oh, we do.
It's,
Put some money in it then.
it's big,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd go over and take a look at that, because
They
I
get-
remember when we used to,
They jam her every Friday night,
yeah,
yeah.
they would just run sprint cars or stock
Sprint
cars?
cars, modifieds, and stock cars.
Okay.
You know, like you guys are thinking of racing from what's happening on the track, et cetera, but sometimes mommies that go there and bring their children, there were other things besides on the racetrack that were interesting to mommies. And one of them was, which racetrack has the best food? And then we have gotten into group arguments over which racetrack had the best food.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I said Bryan had the best chicken, Bryan, Ohio. They had the best chicken by far. And Ileana at Cherville had the best hamburgers. And I mean, we just, somebody, no, it's someplace else. And I said you could really hear more arguing about which racetrack had the best food.
Right.
Because for some reason, race fans are always interested in food.
Sure.
And especially when you go there and set from time trials or practice through time trials, through racing, by the end of the night, you know, you really need some food. And you get to know which tracks really have the good food.
Right.
That's why my wife snickers at me. I won't eat a hot dog anymore. Racetrack steaks, I think they used to call them. And
Tube steaks.
Yeah.
tube steaks. When I ran South Anthony, we had time just to get off work and go get the car out by New Haven and bring it up to South Anthony and get it off the trailer and get it qualified. And so the only supper you ever got on race night was right there at the concession stand, which was a hot dog.
Right.
And after you eat some
You've
of
had
that,
your share now.
when you look in the mirror and there's one coming out your ear, you know you've ate too many of those. How'd the food at Bearfield?
It's in general, it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually we wait and eat when we get out there. So if we wait and eat when we get there, it must be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Eldora and New Bremen. Remember going down there? They always had a cookout afterwards. They always remember they had them big,
New Bremen.
they had them cookers out there.
Yeah,
And they
had chicken, barbecue chicken out there.
had
Yeah.
barbecued chicken on
New
there.
Bremen, that's what that was kind of a sister to Eldora, wasn't
Right.
it?
Yeah.
The asphalt version, maybe.
Just laying there, weeds growing up in it.
They're
No,
not
that's
running it anymore.
No, they
Well,
haven't.
Wallace bought it, you know, so he'd
Oh,
have control of it, yeah. And then he ran it. It was paved, and then he took the
Pavement up.
blacktop, ran dirt, and but really he was trying to build Eldora to be the only track in the area because he'd bought all the tracks in the area. And Crown Manufacturing bought the racetrack, and it's just been sitting. That was the story was they were going to expand their factory. That's why they bought it. See, well, just looking through one of my open wheel magazines in my library at home. That I hit every morning. There was a story in there on New Bremen, and quite lengthy, and I read it, and got down towards the end, and in the agreement of this sale, the agreement is right in the contract, there'd be no auto racing for 25 years,
Oh my goodness.
which brings it up to, I think it was sold in '89, so whatever 25 years comes up. Nobody can do anything.
215.
Something like that, yeah. So,
The only Eldora gossip I've heard lately was that next year Jack Hewitt was going to be the promoter there. Have you heard that?
I
Well,
haven't heard it, but he's
did-
close to Earl.
Tony buy the track.
That I don't know either, but I mean, he's interested in it.
Yeah, because that's been on Wind Tunnel.
Right.
And he had the offer, or was offering Baldus to buy it out. But talking about New Bremen, Norb Koskoff, before Norb got into NASCAR and that, Norb ran races at New Bremen.
Right.
I can remember going down there with him. I was the flagman, and I got to drive the water truck.
Both of those, huh?
I had
Whoa.
two jobs that day. And Norb, he sponsored some races at New Bremen, and I don't know what happened, we did, 2 or 3 is all we ever ran down there. And then Norb and Lipke got together here in town and ran midgets at the Coliseum, and then they did car shows
Right.
out there,
Rod and custom show.
custom shows, and I used to build my next year's car. I'd start on it all along about August out at the body shop and get it, even though it didn't have the right running gears and that in it. I left the old motor and everything in it, and we would put that body in the Rod and Custom show, and we also took it to Kokomo at the or Lipke had that one down there at the Armory, and
Right.
we'd take the car down there. I remember one January we're down there, we're right next to the big door that opens up, and Johnny's already got the trailer out there and the ramps are down, and all I had to do was fire up the car, back it out the door and pull it on the ramps. When I backed it around and kicked it, it blew everybody's trophies down all the way down
boy.
that track.
You felt important, huh?
Oh, there's a lot of people didn't like us after that
I
one.
guess.
That was-
You talked about flagging and driving a water truck in New Bremen.
yeah.
Well, then when you flagged for me in Florida, you got off easy. You only had one job to do, just flagging.
That was it, just flagging. That
I was
last,
changing the rear end in the Mercury.
yeah, we did that in Valdosta, Georgia, rather
Yeah.
than pick onions.
Instead of picking onions, that was your choice?
We had to pick onions to be able to buy the rear end. No, I'm just kidding.
This was way back in this was in the 60s,
Yeah.
wasn't it? 64, 65. We went down south to get rich.
Oh,
My brother Dick and myself and Rocky and Schlegel and
Dean,
Dean and
what a
Paul
group.
Martin from Toledo was
Paul
the
Martin, the announcer, and the very first track we did was Jacksonville, that oil
Yeah.
down track at Jacksonville, and we ended up in South Carolina,
Yep,
Columbia, South Carolina,
right.
and the guy that came on to relieve Paul Martin for announcing was the head of the jail there. He was a warden in
Yep.
the medal or
Right.
the institute that kept the crooks.
Was it a good thing you knew him or what?
It's a good thing he was there. We'd have got hung.
Yeah,
But we got out of there all
The
right.
night
Yeah.
that the lights went out in Georgia?
That's a good sign. We got in the car about 11 o'clock at night, and then Dick says, "You want me to drive?" And I says, "We're not going back to Motel Dick." Paul Martin says, "Oh, where are we going?" I says, "Where do you live?" He says, "Toledo." I says, "That'll be the first stop."
yeah.
We came home. But Jacksonville was a flat,
Yeah.
greasy,
Oily
oily track.
Oil dirt.
And
Circular type track.
Bell got hurt there, didn't he?
Yeah, he got hurt bad there.
Yeah, he,
Went off the end of the track and
yeah,
had a concussion and stuff of that.
yeah, he
Really
caught-
kind of ruined him, and that's another thing that I couldn't remember in reading this same book, well, the same article on New Bremen. He ended up, he apparently drove after that. Wasn't aware of that, and he
Yeah.
got killed at New Bremen.
He got-
Oh,
Reading
my
this article.
really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know
Oh,
He, remember they had them railroad, or looked like posts, that they were up about 3 feet all the way around the racetrack, and that's when he started flipping. He got
Yeah.
into that
Yeah.
and hit him in the head. Man, that was awful.
that. Yeah.
look how much safer racing is now.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
although they go so much faster, it's so much safer now with all
Right.
the things they've come up with. And
You know.
lucky for the race drivers, they have that now.
Right.
Do you ever think about what if I wouldn't have had racing when I was young? What would you suppose you'd have been doing if you didn't have racing?
I would have probably retired 10 years earlier with a lot more money.
Oh,
You'd have probably joined the New York City Rockettes, probably.
Yeah.
oh yes, I probably would have done that. I had considered that. And no, if I wouldn't have gone to the races, I really do. I really think that people that don't try going to the races, like I was telling Paul, my husband never went. He lived right up by Quincy and
Right.
never went to the races. And once he went, I mean, he was just like, "Oh my Lord, this is so much fun!" He
Right.
said, "I can't believe this was here, and I didn't discover it."
Right.
and I just always went, but he wouldn't go with me, so my girlfriends and I always went.
Yeah.
You know what it tells us, though, as promoters, somehow we're not reaching the people.
Right.
To get them to come out at least once,
Yeah.
you know, we have to do something to do a better job there.
Do you know, I think of something that, and I don't know how well, of course, you'd get the money that you got to go in the pits, but one time, just try it and say, next week, our racing is free for everyone. Everyone come, the race is free. And if there was some way you could track that and say, after that they paid, you know, the next week's, and see how many people you got from that.
Munzer did that up at Angola.
Really?
Yeah.
Can of food, wasn't it?
I think that, or at the end of the season, he used to let everybody in free and made his money off the concession stand up there.
Well, you know you're going to make it because
Yeah.
people are going to eat.
And he'd let them in. I remember a couple times that he did, a couple years in a row that he'd done that.
Well, he did do a promotion where everybody had to have a can of food.
Yeah.
And he told everybody ahead of time, that's what the payoff's going to be. You're going to
Yeah.
get paid off in canned goods.
Oh, I'll be
And
darned.
he did.
But what the
I
guys
don't know if
pay
he-
to go in the pits, you
Yeah,
could
I don't
pay
know
with that.
if they did 2 of those or if he only did the one, but I know he did one of them.
Yeah.
Huh. You know, we do a community harvest food bank thing out to the racetrack once a season, but we don't have where you bring canned food. We have you donate money.
Right.
Because after I talked to the people from the food bank, they said they can purchase so much more with $1 than what if we bring canned food out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really, we pay more for it than what they would. And so after, well, we've always had where the drivers take up a collection and then we give the money to Community Harvest Food Bank. And so we're really into community stuff at Bearfield.
Sure.
And I hope we can even develop that more next year because we're really into that. Tom Ish is really, I mean, he appreciates the community, you know, and he does like to give back. And
Right.
so we're going to try to do more of that next year.
I talked to Tom when I was out there Sunday, and I talked to him about being on one of these programs, and he said, wait till the season ends. I don't know, what else you got out there after that one last Sunday?
That was it. Now we have the banquet this weekend,
Yeah,
and then we're done.
that's all. Because
You might want to give me some of those tickets for your thing for door prizes for the banquet. Give me a couple of those,
I can do that.
okay?
That's this weekend?
Yeah, our banquet's this weekend, Saturday night.
But anyway, I talked to him about that, and then, like you said, Billy, I guess, not coming back next year.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Okay.
I know he's not real well.
No, yeah, he isn't.
It's
And
too bad. He's such a,
racing's been his whole life.
yeah, it really is. And
But-
he's a good person. And he knows his stuff.
Yeah,
Of course, he learned from a good one, Howard Weiss.
yeah. Howard was instrumental in getting a lot of people started. But racing in this area has been good, I think. The same people follow racing. If you go to the racetrack a number of times, you'll see the same people out there, and once in a while you'll see a fresh face. But I know once you get older like me, I don't go as often as I should, knowing it don't cost me anything to get in. But
One bit of news I think maybe we'll pass on here is
Okay.
we talked about the Coliseum and Lipke promoting the USAC midget races. In the past, they went for some time without any races. Then it's been 3 or 4 years now that Tony Barhorst from Fort Laramie, Ohio, he's doing the indoor midget races, and he's had Neymars, he's had guys from Illinois running different open competition stuff. And this coming December, he's booked USAC in for 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
So the USAC midgets will be
Oh.
back out there, so that
Oh, that'll be
should
good.
be a good show.
they've been running them in California, out west though, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
USAC didn't come too far east, or
Oh, yeah, they've been through they've been through here.
Yeah, because
but
the last few years I haven't heard anything of them.
Oh, yeah, they're running the same areas they always have, except that the cost for a USAC show is skyrocketing like everything else, and
Yeah.
it's so expensive to bring them in.
They run carts with that too, then go-karts also?
I think they're going to run carts, and they're going to run the modified midgets out of Logansport. so it'll be a long show.
It makes a long show, but it's
Yeah.
a good show.
Yeah.
It's-
So, but anyway, they're hooked back up with USAC, so he promotes Fort Wayne, and he promotes the RCA Dome, and he promotes Dayton, Ohio.
Oh.
There's 3 shows, so
Do they still run the Toledo Arena?
they have.
Gladio used to run that.
He did it.
years
This
ago.
guy did a show there about 4 years ago. They just did one and didn't go back, so I don't know what the
Must be some
Yeah.
reason for it.
reason for it.
I know, I remember going up there years and years ago with Hoagie and a few of them guys going up to Toledo Arena. It used to be, it was bad enough in Fort Wayne to breathe. That Toledo Arena, you could cut a chunk of that
Oh,
stuff
really?
out and chew on it.
Well,
It
I
was
would,
bad.
2 and 3 days afterwards, your sinuses still had,
Well,
you could taste that in your
Did you
mouth.
remember what they did at Toledo for the exhaust?
I don't think they just opened doors. I think
They
once
opened 2 doors and they had an airplane that they shoved in there,
An
and they'd
airplane.
run the airplane motor, and
Oh,
that was
for
to suck
heaven's
the air
sake.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I
Oh,
knew
yeah.
they had a big fan in there, but
That was
I
it.
knew
It
they
was
opened the
attached to the
doors. It
airplane.
wasn't anything
Oh.
like
Yeah.
at Coliseum, and
Yeah.
they got exhaust fans going up and would suck them out.
Yeah,
and
it's not
blow
so
air
bad
in.
now at
No.
all.
But I can remember getting some real good headaches
Oh, yeah.
at that Toledo.
Oh.
Boy, that you just didn't think you could breathe.
Well, I did at the Coliseum here too. I thought that was awful. But the racing was fun, and by then you're just really anxious to watch racing. You know, by the time of the year they have that, you haven't seen it for a while, and you're anxious. And
That's another thing we don't do around here. Remember along about February when they used to bring Daytona 500 in on the big screen down at Scottish Rite and that.
Right.
And then the week before that or the night before that, we always had a movie. What the heck was them 2 guys' name? They'd always put a movie on somewhere in one of the clubs, and everybody went and watched that.
The 2 guys from Bluffton, Joe Creek. Or
Creek,
something?
yeah, Creek was
Yeah.
one of
See,
them.
he did a lot of shooting for Dick Whalen movies.
Yeah.
oh,
They'd rent like the Marriott or something like that and have
Yeah.
a big movie party.
everybody sat around,
Yeah.
drank
Yeah.
milk, and
But,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I think the problem with
Cookies, milk
the
and
big
cookies.
screen, the Daytona thing is so many people got big screens in their living room
Yeah,
now.
nowadays
Yeah,
you do.
that's
You'd
probably
you'd
true,
have to
too.
make a party out of it, you
yeah.
know.
It used to be that was the only show.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it was on a big screen,
Mhm.
and you went down. I remember going down. It wasn't the clearest.
No.
It was like a snowstorm most
right.
of the time. But it was. I know I took my dad down, and my brothers. We went down and watched it a couple times. But Creek and another guy had
Yeah.
have that show the night before at Marriott or someplace
Right.
like that, and they had them out there on 14 once, and it was a nice thing to go. Well, even though we're down to 2 people, we're down to the last 60 seconds.
Ooh.
Beat the red hand around
We
the
did
clock.
it.
I didn't think it'd go this fast.
It did go
It's
fast.
been I don't know, it's been an interesting afternoon.
Yes.
I hope we covered all the bases that we set out to do, and it's just been one of them things. Racing in this area is hard to quiet down, and now that Bearfield is over with, and it's everything going to lay dormant now till about April, and I don't know, April, May, somewhere in there.
Someone's in there, yeah.
They'll start up again. Somebody will be the first guy out, and then it'll go from there. And then we can say we're another year older, but we're still watching the same
Right.
thing. Cars going around the racetrack.
Right.
And it's been interesting to live and be part of racing. So I guess everything goes and is wound up, and my camera person is wound up, and and I think the show's just about over with.
Too much sugar for the camera person.
Okay.